Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to teach you the lessons of Unit 7, Ecology. The textbook is Getway to English, all streams. And let's start with the first lesson, that is vocabulary. So, Unit 7, Ecology, vocabulary. What is ecology in the first place? So, ecology is the way in which plants, animals and people are related to each other and to the environment, which means our relationship with our surroundings, with the environment that we live in. Here we have some vocabulary items that I will show you with pictures, of course. So this environment, we can call it a healthy environment because it's green and it's healthy, there is fresh air and everything that we need so as to live in a healthy environment that would help us to have a good health. On the other side, this is an unhealthy environment. As you can see, there is a lot of garbage here, so it's not, or these are not good conditions for the human being to live. That's why it's unhealthy for us as human beings. Here we have as you can see, garbage. There are other synonyms. We can call it also rubbish or trash, and there is a general word that is waste, which means everything that we get rid of when we finish using it. This is a factory, which means a place where we produce things like, for example, laptops and cars and different things, but there is a problem, is that this kind of factory, they pollute the environment. Here there is an example of factory polluting the environment. So factories, they produce industrial waste. So the industrial waste, we can also call it toxic waste. It's poisonous, it harms the environment. And talking about harming the environment, as you know that waste harms the environment. So we have this, but if we don't protect it, we will have this. So that's the result of not taking care of the environment. Here we have different kinds of pollutions. First is air pollution. We're talking about the air. Here is the land or the soil pollution, and last is water pollution. So we have the air, the land and the water. So the question is, why is pollution bad for our environment? Why do you think, or do we think that the environment is polluted, or is pollution is the negative for the environment? First, the emissions of the factories and the cars, of course. So smoke, it harms the environment. Here we have smog. It's kind of a mixture of smoke and gas. Okay, so when there is a lot of smoke from factories and from cars, the weather becomes smoggy. That's the adjective. Sewage, we are talking here about the waste of the factories and the houses as well. The climate change, so the weather keeps changing. This is also a sign of air pollution. Global warming, as you know, that the temperature of the earth keeps rising. We call it global warming. Drought is when there is no rain, no water, or shortage of water. So the plants and the people, also the animals, damaged. Health problems. Of course, if there is a lot of air pollution or water pollution or any kind of pollution, it has a bad impact on our health, and we have health problems like this, especially problems with breathing. Last is an exercise. We have some words that we will use them to complete some sentences. So we have garbage, factories, industrial waste, toxic, harms, pollution, emissions, smog and sewage. So the first sentence is cars and vehicles pollute the air with their emissions, of course, anything that comes out from them. All the people through the streets make our cities look ugly. So all the garbage people throw in the streets make our city look ugly. Number 3 is one of the biggest problems of the 21st century, which of course it's pollution. Water is polluted by all the sewage that comes from our homes. Number 5, people suffer from asthma and other diseases in big cities because of the smog that covers the air. The last is factories produce industrial waste which destroys our health and harms our environment because it is toxic, of course. So that's all the vocabulary items related to ecology in Unit 7. So this is Unit 7, functions expressing wishes and hopes. So we have this situation. I want to buy a car, but I don't have money. So this situation is in the present because the verbs here are in the present. I want to buy a car, but I don't have money. I want to express my wish. So we have two ways to express the wish. You can say, I wish I had money, or if only I had money. If you can see here, the verb is have, it becomes had. So we use the past simple to express wishes in the present. We will have a look at the form. So it's imagining the present were different. For example, as you know in the first example, I say I want to buy a car, I don't have money. So I want to change the present, okay? Or imagine. So one simple way to imagine that things in the present were different is to use if only or wish plus past simple or past continuous. I'll give you examples. For example, I live near the beach, or I don't want to live near the beach. I have another wish. So I express it like this. I wish I lived near the mountains. Okay, so I use the verb in the past. It's if only or wish, it's the same, plus the past simple, as you can see. And here I have another situation. My father is working. He doesn't have time for me. So I wish he weren't working. So this is the past continuous. I just conjugate the verb in the past simple or the past continuous according to the tense. It's here the present simple, past simple, present continuous is working, past continuous were working. Okay, so we move to the next one. Here there is another situation. Sue is at her cousin's birthday party. She is bored. Have a look at Sue. She is bored. So her wish is this. She wishes she were somewhere else, or if only she were somewhere else. As you can see, we use were with she. As you know, with she or I or he, we use was. But to be formal or informal English, we use were to express wishes. So here we have wish or if only plus would plus bare infinitive, not plus the past, but we have another, or it has another function. So we use wish, if only plus would plus bare infinitive, that is the verb without to complain about or criticize a person or a situation, like this situation here. So Anna, she is holding a book. She wants to read, but Bob is smoking and talking on the phone. So he is disturbing her. So this is not a good situation. So she wants to complain, or she has a wish. She can say, if only he would, which means Bob would stop smoking and talking, or I wish he would stop smoking and talking. So here we have wish plus, or if only plus would. Here we have would plus the bare infinitive of the verb stop. Here another example also is wish or if only, but this time it's plus could and the bare infinitive. And we use this form. We use wish if only plus could plus bare infinitive to show your desire to that someone was able to do something. For example, I can't go to the party with my friends. My wish is I wish, or if only I could go to the party with my friends. So that's my wish. I use could plus bare infinitive to show a desire that someone was able to do something but he couldn't. So here there is a kind of exercise. Make sentences about the following situations using the three forms. Wish if only plus past simple, wish if only plus would plus bare infinitive, or wish if only plus could plus bare infinitive. The first situation is this. She's trying to sleep but her husband is snoring. Her wish is if only he weren't snoring, or she wishes he weren't snoring. We can also express it with would if only he would stop snoring, or she wishes he would stop snoring. So we can use this form or this form because this is a situation and that's her wish. Another situation is this. Sarah can't fly. So Sarah, I wish I could fly, or if only I could fly. So we use wish or if only, could plus verb in the infinitive. Another situation, Jack can't travel. He wants to travel but he can't. So Jack, I wish I could travel, or if only I could travel. So Tom wants to be a doctor to cure poor people. That's his wish. So Tom, I wish I were a doctor to cure poor people, or if only I were a doctor to cure poor people. So as you can see, we use word with I, he, she, and it. It's okay if we are talking about expressing wishes, if only and I wish. Grammar is conditional type 2, or the second conditional as we call it. So now we will take those wishes one step further and imagine the result, or imagine what would happen if they were currently true. This is the second conditional. So if you still remember, in the functions we talked about this situation. So this is the form of the conditional type 2. It's if plus past simple plus would plus bare infinitive. So if you still remember this example, I live near the beach. If I want to express my wish, I express it like this, as you know. I wish plus past simple near the beach. So I wish I lived near the beach. But if I want to imagine other things, or imagine what would happen, okay? So I can use this form to imagine. So I use the past, but the situation is unreal, and I mean the present. I don't mean the past even if I use it. That's why we call this past unreal past. So we use it like this. If I lived near the mountains, I would go hiking every weekend. So I just imagine the situation. So if I lived, I would go. This is the form. To give you other explanation, if I had a lot of money, I would buy a big house. So this is the condition. If I had a lot of money, I use the past, but I mean now. That's why we call it unreal. Okay? So if I had a lot of money, this is the condition. The result is I would buy a big house, but I don't have the money, so I'm just imagining. So if I knew his number, I would, this is the short form, I'd phone him, but I don't know his phone number. So we have two clauses. The if clause, which means the clause that has if, and the main clause. So in the if clause, I use the simple past, had, knew, and in the main clause, I can use would, might, could, plus verb in the infinitive. I give you examples with would first. So we use would when the result is more definite and certain, like if Peter asked Karen, she would say yes. So I'm a bit certain about this. And I use might when the result may or may not happen. so I'm not sure about it. If Peter asked Karen out, she might say yes or she might say no. I'm not sure, so I use might, not would. And the last is could. We use could to talk about possibilities or abilities. For example, if I had $1 million, I could buy a helicopter, or I could live in a mansion, or I could live in a mansion, or I could quit my job if I had $1 million, of course. Second conditional here, there's another situation. Jack wants to buy a house, but he cannot do this because he doesn't have any money. So if I had a lot of money, I would buy a big house. So that's what Jack would say. So if plus past plus would plus verb. Or we can use it as a wish. I wish I had a lot of money to buy a house. Okay, so there is when you are talking about second conditional and expression wishes, it's imagining, so we can use both of them in these cases. Another situation, Susan wants to visit Anna, but she can't do this because she doesn't know her address. So if I knew her address, I would visit her, but I don't know her address. Okay, so I'm just imagining what would happen. Or I can say, if only I knew her address. This is practice the second conditional. Complete the sentences with verbs in the correct tense. Pay attention to which part of the sentence is the condition and which part is the result. So here, if the verb eat a healthy breakfast, you have more energy. As we said, if is plus the past and the plus would plus verb. So if you ate a healthy breakfast, you would have more energy. Second one, I call him if I have his address. I can't say here I called, use the past. No, we use would, okay, because this is the result clause or the main clause, and here is the if clause in which we use the past. So I would call him if I had his number. Another one is if he, the past of to be. As we said, we use were with the second conditional, not was. If he were more organized, he would not forget so many things. This is the negative, so the negative goes with would. I can say wouldn't or would not. Last sentence is we a larger house if we more money, of course. We would buy a larger house if we had more money. So we use would plus verb with the main clause and if plus past simple with the if clause. So we are still with Unit 7, Ecology, writing a formal letter. So we are talking about letters. Of course, we have a sender, the person who sends the letter, and the receiver, the person who receives the letter. And the letters, they have a form that we should respect. Okay, so we have this example as the form of a letter. So we start, of course, with the address. This is just an example. You can write your address. The date, today's date, it's also an example. Greeting, dear sir or madam. You can also say the name or use the name, dear Mr. X or dear Mrs. or Miss X. This is an introduction. I hope you're doing well. I'm writing to you because I want to complain. So in the introduction, you can socialize like this. You can say, I hope you are doing well, and then you can say the purpose of your letter or why you are writing. So I'm writing to you because I want to, okay? And then here, because we are complaining, we can use the complaint, the factory that was built last year near our village is polluting the lake. I'm really tired of this and people here are angry about the situation. The toxic emissions are harmful to the lake, the environment and animals of the region. So this is an example of a complaint, and then you can express your wish. I wish you could do something to solve this problem. The closing, best regards, this is one example of them, and then your signature, which means you write your name. So this is in general the form of a letter. Here it's like a homework for you to write about air pollution. Okay, so these are some causes of air pollution. We have here natural causes like volcanoes and wildfires, forests. The city, also the smoke of the vehicles. So this is an area, city, livestock, fertilizer, gas and oil. Stationary, which means the places that are in one place, they don't move, like industry, power plants, sewage treatment. And mobile, which means the things that move, like cars, airplanes, trucks, buses and motorbikes. So you can think of the causes or the problems of air pollution and write a letter. You write the address, the date, dear, if you know the name, use it. This is just the form. I'm just presenting or showing you the form. I hope you are doing well. I'm writing to you because I have a complaint. You explain the complaint, you express your wish, best regards, and then you use your name or the signature. So that's the letter, and that's the form that you can use to write it at home. You have the time to do that. You think of the problems of air pollution and then you write a letter to complain about that. Thank you so much. Stay at home and stay safe.